Hello everyone, this is Rag, and this is a video Let's Play for Monster Rancher 2. I figured I would give you guys some special content here and show you what the game looks like in motion. So without further ado, why don't we head on some errantry. Now, last time we were here, we'd won the C rank tournament, made some nice money. Now we hit B rank, we can access some errantries, and TG even dug up the hot springs. What that means is if we go to the Torble Sea errantry, we may be able to fight a rare monster, which allows us to unlock a type of monster that I quite enjoy. It's a big fish-like monster, just like the man says, and its name is a Zilla. Let's go and have some fun. Now, Torble Sea is the beach errantry. Here you mostly get skill gains. You get skill techniques too, which are known as hit techniques. They have a high chance to hit, low damage on the whole. At the other errantries you can learn, say at the volcano, you can learn special techniques, which either have a really high damage, high hit, high sharpness, or high withering. Basically they're exceptional in several stats, and they cost a ton of guts, usually about 40 or 50 when a normal attack is about 12. This isn't so bad on a monster like TG, who regenerates guts like nobody's business, but on anyone else it's kind of an issue. Then you have the Rainforest errantry, which I've never actually shown you guys, but that's the intelligence errantry, and there you can learn withering techniques. Now, withering techniques drain enemies' guts, which is quite useful for attack denial, basically preventing the enemies from attacking. Next after that you have the Icy Mountain errantry, which is the speed errantry, which is where you learn sharp techniques, which are apt to give you more critical hits. Finally, you have Mandy, the desert errantry, which gives you heavy techniques. These are hard-hitting techniques, they're dangerous, and they're pretty much always enjoyable to watch. Now, skill techniques are nice, and this monster is a hopper who his best stat gains are in skill. So this is pretty much the ideal errantry for him, you see, because errantry really tires your monsters out, and whenever a monster gets a message that it's fatigued, its lifespan has been decreased by a couple weeks. So you really want to get the most out of errantries. Sending them on errantries willy-nilly is just going to tire them out and shave precious life off their lifespan. So in general, it's best to avoid errantry if at all possible, and you can typically do this with combined monsters, because monsters that have been created through combination start off with a pretty good moveset, and often, much like in the case of Cannon, our Joker, they start with more moves than they'll ever need. Now, we're coming up on the final part of this errantry, and to be honest, errantry is really boring for me personally. First of all, because I don't have any input, it's basically just watching and hoping it goes right. And second of all, because after you've done these errantries enough times, you kind of learn when things are going to fuck up. Basically, there are visual cues at specific points in the errantry that shows when it's going to go well and when it's going to go badly. A particular example of this is breaking open the stone in the Mandy Desert. You can pretty much tell right from the start if your monster's going to do it or not. So it's pretty much for me just waiting through this, but I thought you guys would like to see it in action, because it's really a pretty vibrant game considering it was just a PlayStation game, and I'll see if I can't catch some tournament footage later on. But for now, I just wanted to show you guys an errantry and show you the process of unlocking the Zilla monster, which is a pretty enjoyable monster. It's basically, well, you'll see in a few seconds here as soon as we defeat this giant crab. I'm not quite sure why they felt the need to end all the errantries like this, but each of them has a fight against some sort of giant non-monster creature. A crab, polar bears. In the intelligence errantry, it is basically you finger a gorilla. Yeah, it's kind of gross, but your monsters are weird like that. Japan, you know, whatever. And let's see, the volcano errantry, as you've all seen, has, you know, dinosaurs. And the Mandy errantry has a huge antlion, so apparently the best way to train monsters is by making them fight animals. Anyways, here we go. It's time to fight the Zilla. He's a pretty nasty critter too, as you should pretty much be able to tell. I mean, his statistics. He pretty much blows TG out of the water, and TG is going to have a lot of trouble doing any respectable damage to him with stats like that. But we'll give it a go and see how it works out. Alright. Now, Zillas have very high gains in life and power, decent gains in defense, bad gains in intelligence, skill, and speed. So this Zilla has pretty high skill for a Zilla, and if it lands 1 or 2 hits, it's pretty much over for us. TG isn't durable, he's just fast, and as you've seen, he barely does any damage to this monster, and I personally hate these fights because they're on autopilot. I have no control over them, so I basically have to sit here and watch it happen, which is really not a very enjoyable experience because the AI does some monumentally stupid things, especially when monsters have intelligence and power-based attacks. It's pretty fond of choosing to use power-based attacks on intelligence-based monsters, for example. It just doesn't appear to selectively choose attacks, which is just kinda silly. Anyways, I think that's about enough of this. Let's get a heavy hitter out here, guys. Okay guys, here we go. Canon's a pretty tough monster. He should be able to deal with the Zilla King without too much trouble. Alright guys, we're back, and let me take a moment to assure you that that was just as painful for me to watch as it was for you. The AI in the game is absolutely atrocious. It moves slow as molasses, and it basically refuses to be offensive or attack intelligently. Did you see him there spamming fists? I mean, that was just great, you know. That was really killing the Zilla King, you stupid fucking joker. Anyways, time to get our prize, which is a Zilla beard. Doesn't really look like a beard, but you know, it's pretty good. Anyways, Master Pabs will explain it and you guys can check that out in the thread. Let's go take a look at our options for a new monster. Okay guys, let me know what you want to use. We can use the Fire Feather to create the Phoenix. It's a pretty hard-hitting monster in general. It starts with power-based attacks, which is really its only weakness since it's an intelligence monster, but it's really got some of the cooler attacks in the game. Next up we have the Spear, which allows us to make a Centaur, which is another interesting monster. He has some nice attacks, good skill gains, but he's not really all that strong. Next up we have the Dragon Tusk, which allows us to create dragons, which are really quite powerful. They're made to hit hard with both intelligence and power attacks. They have decent skill. They have bad tempers though. Next up we have the Double-Edged, which allows us to create the Durahan monsters. They're armored, they hit hard. In general, they're pretty good. After that we have the Undyne Slate, which allows us to create an Undyne. This one's pretty straightforward. Water Spirit uses intelligence, does some nice damage. Finally we have the Zilla Beard, which allows us to create one of my favorite monsters, a huge freaking land whale. They're not the best monsters, but they're really pretty fun to watch in action, and they have some neat attacks. Anyways guys, let me know what we should do. Either we can create one of those monsters, or we can keep going with one of the other two, but I think both Canon and TG are nearing the end of their lives, so it would be best to make something new. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is Rag signing out.